Hello and welcome to this overview of the Yo color system. We are so excited to have you here today and to be sharing this information with you. And by the end of this video, you'll have an understanding of this entire system, keys for formulation, and also how to stay in touch with us. So let's go ahead and get started. The Yo color system is our three-part ammonia-free color system. It's made up of 𝐈𝐸, the permanent oxidative portion, Yo Green, our semi-permanent solution for toning or refreshing mid-lengths and ends, and followed by our 𝐬𝐭, a direct pigment color conditioner that was designed to close the cuticle, refresh tones, really bring an amazing shine, and complete your color service. So before we get into each product, I want to briefly touch on our patented 𝐬𝐸 complex. 𝐬𝐸 is an added botanical additive that's made up of 4 different plants, and each one was designed or chosen because of its ability to support the health of the hair and the scalp when they are used synergistically or intermixed together. So another fun fact about Kemon is the botanical ingredients, as well as the others featured throughout this system, are actually grown on premise in Kemon's organic open air lab. So they literally grow the ingredients right in their garden. That's pretty cool. 𝐬𝐸 complex is made up of mullein, helichrysum, flax, and dyer's chamomile. So Yo color system is just that, a system where each component is designed to work synergistically with each other so that you get the maximum benefit of each product. It was created to give you a product for each part of your coloring service, so taking care of that hair completely from new growth all the way to the ends. Starting from the left, we have 𝐈𝐸, which is your permanent for new growth touch-ups. Yo Green would be your pull-through or used for your mid-shaft and ends. And then 𝐬𝐭 is a direct pigment conditioner for one final deposit of color or shine, as well as giving you the ability to create custom blended conditioning treatments for your clients as a possible retail option. So I really love this image, which is why I included it, and this just further explains the intended use of this system in its entirety. You can see the little brackets up at the top, 𝐈𝐸 at the new growth, Yo Green on the mids and ends, and then below 𝐬𝐭 covering the entirety of that hair strand. I think that this really just gives a beautiful illustration of the way that this system is designed to be used. So we'll start with 𝐈𝐸. 𝐈𝐸 is the permanent oxidative portion of the line. It is yogurt based, which gives it an amazing consistency that helps that color stay exactly where you place it. It is also ammonia free, so it serves as a great offer for your clients that are more chemically conscious or would prefer a greener option when they want to color their hair. So you would use your 𝐈𝐸 for your more dramatic overall color transformations, but specifically for achieving white coverage. You're going to go for your 𝐈𝐸. It can cover white hair 100%, can lighten up to 4 levels. It's fragrance free. It's dermatologist tested. It's an amazing solution for any clients that have any sensitivities or, like we said, just prefer a cleaner, greener option. 3 key ingredients in 𝐈𝐸 are yogurt extract, which is responsible for that really sturdy kind of structured consistency, as well as calendula and flax. On each tube of Kemon color, whether that is in this Yo color system or in our Kramer color system, which is a completely separate additional system that we offer, you'll see that we use a numbering system. So on the right-hand side of the page, there is a decimal and an associated undertone. Each tonal value that you see here translates between the two systems with one small exception. The little asterisk at the top there. There is no warm natural series in the Yo color system. That's actually in Kramer. So you won't see it in this color family, but moving over into Kramer, you do have a 0.0 series or a warm natural series. So that's the only difference here. So how do we read the tube? You'll see color families categorized 3 different ways. You'll see a single digit by itself, which indicates a level, pretty standard 1 through 10 that we're familiar with. or you will see a level followed by a decimal point and a single digit, or a level followed by a decimal point and 2 digits. So if we look at this example here, we have a 7.23. In this case, 7 is our level, 0.2 is the primary tone, and according to our chart on the right-hand side, that's a beige. And primary tone means that's the tone that our eye is going to detect, or the primary tone of the finish. So like we said, in this case, it would be beige. And the second tone there, which is the 3, will affect that primary tone in some way. It's either going to control it or intensify it. Or in other words, it's going to enhance it or kind of balance it out. So if we look at the chart on the right, again, 0.3 is gold. So in this case, the gold is going to enhance that yellow tone, that yellow undertone that's present in beige. Beige in our system, it's shown as green here, but it's truly a yellow-green undertone, and you'll see that on the wheels as we move forward, our color wheels. So this is our color wheel, and you'll see this wheel again when we talk about formulation, but I wanted you to see it now so you get familiar with it. Each color family in 𝐈𝐸 and 𝐸𝐿 can be found on these wheels somewhere. So the question that you might be asking yourself is, well, how do I know where to look? So if we go back to the number system, we go back here, and so like I said, 0.2, it says beige, but it's truly a yellow-green undertone. So if we look at this, 0.2 indicates beige. We go to our color wheel, and we see that there's a 5.2, a 7.2, and a 9.2, all in that yellow-green pie slice there. So every tonal value that we have lives on the wheel exactly in alignment with that value. I 100% guarantee that if you get familiar with this wheel and make it your best friend in the dispensary, you will never, ever, ever get stuck trying to figure out how to formulate ever again. This is my best friend behind the chair. So both 𝐈𝐸 and 𝐸𝐿 have their own developers that were designed to work synergistically with that family. So the 𝐈𝐸 series has its own developers, 10 through 40 volume, and 𝐸𝐿 has its own developer, which we'll talk about as we go on. With your 𝐈𝐸, you're going to mix in a 1 to 1.5 ratio, and your processing time is going to depend. It's going to vary between 35 and 50 minutes, depending on your developer choice. The exception here would be, the exception for the mixing ratio rather, it would be when you're using super lighteners. And that means that you're going for maximum amount of lightness with color. Your processing time is going to extend to that full 50 minutes, and your mixing ratio is going to go up slightly higher. You mix in a 1 to 2. Technically, super lighteners fall into the category of our specialty tools, which I will elaborate on as we go on, but just to make that distinction here. So to summarize, all of our traditional color is mixed in a 1 to 1.5 mixing ratio. Your timing is going to depend on your developer, but your super lighteners are going to use more developer, so your mixing ratio there is 1 to 2. So here's our color wheels again, and you may be wondering, what is the difference? Why is there 2? What's the difference between the 2 side by side? The brown wheel on the left-hand side there is going to be important when it comes to white coverage. Each shade on the brown wheel is able to cover white hair or gray hair. We call it white, but we're talking about covering grays. Each shade on the brown wheel is able to cover those 100% by itself. We know that white coverage is a service that so many of us do in the salon, so of course we want to make sure that we're able to get that coverage that our clients are looking for. The brown wheel is going to help you to do that. So if your client is less than 50% white, you can choose any tone from either wheel without having to specially formulate for coverage. However, if your client has more than 50% white hair, or you really are looking for white coverage, and your target is a shade that's not on that brown wheel, so let's say it's one on the chromatic wheel on the right, then you're going to have to intermix. You're going to have to specially formulate in order to get that coverage. You're going to need at least 1/3 of your formula to be a shade from the brown wheel in order to get that full coverage. So some other lines, typically you intermix a natural in with your tone to get the white coverage. Very similar train of thought here. However, you have multiple shades. You have multiple shades in 𝐈�O to choose from. Anything within that brown wheel. You aren't limited to just a natural or a neutral, so you're able to still be as creative as you want to be. And here's those wheels again. The 2 color wheels can be found in the back of your color book as well as in the Easy Guide. So the 2 families are separated just to make it easier to visually see the shades that cover white on their own. That way it takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it for you. You know, when you're working on your client and you've got to get that color put on, the last thing you want to do is be sitting there hunting out colors. So they've separated the 2 just to make it a little bit easier to draw your eye right towards those shades that you might be looking for right there on the wheels. So now we're getting into our specialty tools. Every system that Kemon offers has its own specialty tools so that we as hairdressers are able to be as creative as we could ever want to be. We touched briefly on super lighteners, but here we'll go a little bit more in depth. The super lighteners are our high lifts. You'll see those indicated by the 1000 series, and that will get you the maximum possible lift with hair color. If you want anything higher than that, anything lighter than that, of course, you're going to have to switch to a more traditional lightener. But your super lighteners are able to get you the maximum amount of lightness possible with hair color. These are mixed with 40 volume only in a 1:2 mixing ratio, and your full processing time here is 50 minutes. And please note, we do not recommend the use of heat with any of our products, color or lightener. The Mesh series is a family of 4 shades that were created with additional pigment that you can use in a few different ways. The original intent of the meshes was to be used for lowlights, where the added pigment acts like a fill and deposit all in one, so you're able to get really beautiful lowlights, save some time, increase the longevity of that deposit of color. But because they have the extra pigment added in, the meshes can also be used in your formulations for additional gray coverage, and they can be used as the filler for your tint back services. So again, another way to save time, another way to be creative. You can intermix these in with your formulations for on scalp. However, it is not to exceed half of your formulation because of that extra pigment. And you can use these again to save you some time and work creatively behind the chair. So now we're going to move on to 𝐬𝐭 Green. 𝐬𝐭 Green is the semi-permanent portion of the 𝐬𝐭 color system, and it is also ammonia-free. Its intended use is for the mid-shafts and ends for your pull-throughs or your color refreshes, or at the end of your blonding services like a toner. The pH of 𝐬𝐭 Green is less alkaline than permanent color, so that means just by its nature and the way that it was created, it's going to be more gentle on that hair shaft and reduce sensitivity over time. Yogurt extract is a key ingredient in 𝐬𝐭 Green as well, with marshmallow and honey also added in as the key ingredients here. It almost sounds like a dessert. 𝐬𝐭 Green has its own developer, the 6.5, and you mix in a 1 to 1.5 mixing ratio. So your full processing time for 𝐬𝐭 Green is 20 minutes. And how you determine your timing really depends on the service that you're doing. In the event of a true pull-through where you're trying to refresh color and get a really complete deposit, you will want to fully process that 20 minutes to give the maximum amount of deposit. But let's say in the example of toning out a blonde, you may only need to process between 5 and 10 minutes. Use your professional eye, use your judgment there to decide if it is at the tone that you're looking for in the case of toning out a blonde. The third and final component of the 𝐬𝐭 color system is 𝐬𝐭 Conde. And 𝐻𝐿 is also yogurt based. It's a conditioning color glaze that acts as the final step for your color service. So you would apply 𝐻𝐿 to your client's hair after you have rinsed out their color, you've shampooed them, you've rinsed it out, and before taking them back to the chair to complete their service. This is an excellent choice for final deposit of tone and shine, and it has a more acidic pH that helps to bring that cuticle layer back down. The cuticle that was just raised up during that color service, this helps to bring it back down so that hair looks shiny again, and all of that color that you deposited helps to lock it in place and makes it so that the hair is really easy to brush through and detangle as you continue on with their service. Again, we have more amazing ingredients here. It's like a spa treatment for your hair. When you use this system in its entirety, the hair just feels so hydrated, so healthy and shiny, and all of these ingredients working together were designed to promote that. There are 16 intermixable shades that you can use based on your desired result. And the shades can also be mixed in with our 𝐻𝐿 Clear or your favorite deep conditioner as an incredible retail option that helps to increase your sales while also keeping that client's hair, their hair color fresh in between services. We recommend using this in salon between 3 and 5 times services, and then when you're sending it home with them, you're intermixing it in with their conditioner so they can use that when they shampoo their hair. And so that is the end of our 𝐻𝐿 system overview. One thing before you go, we love our community and we love staying in touch with you. So here are all the ways that you can stay connected with us, and I invite you to join us on all of our social media platforms. We would love to hear from you and see some of the work that you're doing if you're using our products. We also have a free customer care group on Facebook, the #KMonCulture, where you can join, get your questions, any questions that you have about formulations or anything that that you've experienced using our products. You can get those answered by our education team. All of us are in there, and you can connect with Kemon users from across the world. So thank you again for watching. If you have any questions about anything you have heard here or you'd like to request a follow-up, please send us an email, and our email address is kemoninfo@kemonusa.com. Thank you so much for watching.